then Krishna, as master of that mind and senses, will purify and control our mind and senses for us. Otherwise, if you don't understand that tattva, then we think, okay, I'm controlling my mind and senses. I'm trying to conquer and overcome this demands of the mind and senses. Arjuna, he said, I tried to do like that so many times, but I failed. And trying to stop this uncontrolled mind and senses is like trying to stop a cyclone. We don't even know we're in a cyclone. That's how elevated our consciousness is. We're not even trying to stop anything. We're just going for the flow. We're just going with the flow. We're just floating in the air somewhere. We're not trying to stop anything. We're just trying to enjoy the ride. You think you're under, Disney World or something. Wherever it takes me, then let's see what happens. So that's not quite the idea. So here it is said that the mind is the whole, how do you purify and control the mind and senses? This is the whole point of the yoga system. We cannot maximize the opportunity of human form of life if we cannot purify, elevate the consciousness and allow or be allowed to focus our mind on Krishna. Krishna said, Manmana Baba Mat Bhakto, only think about me, become my devotee. So that is the point of the human form of life. But we are so distracted, and our mind is so distracted by so many other things related to the body and the bodily relations and all of the activities which are meant to upkeep the selfish, extended selfish desires of ourself or our bodily relations. Therefore, we're burning all of our energy and our time and our thoughts and activities just how to maintain ourselves and our family for some type of level of sense gratification. So everyone is bewildered by that in the human form of life. They're caught up, distracted, bewildered, constantly thinking about all of these other things. So this uncontrolled mind and senses is leading us into all type of sinful desire and sinful activities and sinful reactions. So human form of life means how do you purify ourselves by surrendering to Krishna. Krishna says, you surrender to me, I'll destroy your sinful reactions, all of your karma pala. If you surrender to Krishna, in the process of bhakti, bhakti will also uproot this material attachment and this very deep-rooted and uproot all of the strength of all of these material attachments. So even the desire to commit sinful activity will also be eliminated by the mercy of Krishna, Guru Sadhu Shastra, and process of bhakti. So the whole point is, how do we get freed from material attachment and materialistic desires which are binding us here into different type of sinful thoughts, sinful plans, sinful activities, which then leads to all of the suffering and anxiety that comes because of this sinful reactions. So Krishna says to go back to Vaikuntha, to come back to me, you have to be free from all sin. So process of bhakti, in process of purification, is how do you get free from sin, sinful thoughts, sinful desires, sinful activities, and sinful reactions. So Prabhupada says the process of Krishna consciousness is process of purification. But what are we trying to purify is all of this material contamination, which is all based on body and bodily relations. As in the bodily conception of life, Prabhupada said, this is the material disease. Sometimes Prabhupada said that anxiety is the material disease. But because of the bodily conception of life and attachment to bodily relations, thinking I, me, and mine, it says this attachment to your bodily relation, your family, your friends, your nation, this type of bodily misidentification, this is the root cause of every sinful thought, desire, and activity after that. So it's not a small problem. It's actually the root of every other sinful thought, desire, activity, and sinful reaction, which is punishing us in the material world. So unless we seriously understand that and try to become purified and freed from that, then we are bound, ever bound, karma bandhana, in a cycle of sin and sinful reaction, action and reaction. So these instructions from Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, is meant for those persons who want to become liberated. And of course the real liberation means bhakti. So how many of us really want to become that liberated? So when we cry before Krishna, it says that devotees cry, they say, yes, I'm so caught up, I'm so contaminated, I'm so degraded, I'm so attached. This is the reality of my condition. And in such a condition, being so distracted, overwhelmed by Maya, then how can I actually surrender to you? How can I actually be your devotee? How can I really render loving service as long as all of these other anarthas, all of these other nonsense, materialism, materialistic thoughts, activities, relationships are binding us like ropes and chains in this material world. So unless the soul realizes the reality of their situation and wants to get freed from that in order to surrender to Krishna, Krishna is only waiting for that prayer. If we want to, what does it say? If you want to maintain your materialism, material desires, material activities, and to chant and try to be devotee at the same time, it's all nam aparad. It's not serious. So Krishna is waiting for how badly does this person want to get free from the obstacles which are not allowing them to fully surrender to me in a mood of loving devotion. That's the prayer of conditioned soul. Otherwise we're just saying, no, I'm already devotee, I already surrendered to Krishna like 15 years ago. My Guru, they said, yeah, you cried one time, you cried before Krishna. Still, he showed mercy and brought you to the devotees. Now what are we doing? So it says that you maintain material desires, material attachments, after all of these instructions, this is a namaparat, this aparat. I mean, not serious. So to really be able to hear this, and take advantage of the process of hearing, that prayer must be there. That Krishna must see that, yes, this person understands the reality of their conditioned nature, and they are fed up, exhausted, frustrated, disgusted, and want out of it, but we have no power to get out of that on our own. Arjuna said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, I tried to control my mind, my senses, hundreds, thousands of times. And as much as sincerely you try on your own, he admitted his defeat. They admit the defeat. I could not do it. I could not do it. So therefore, you cannot get out of that cycle. Then you're forced to commit sinful activity. You're forced to suffer the sinful reactions. And it's just going on and on and on and on. So at what point do we get fed up, exhausted, frustrated, and disgusted by being forced in this cycle of sinful activity and sinful reaction? At that point, that soul will cry out to Krishna to somehow or other to shower mercy, causes mercy on us, to give us a means and the ability and the process and the willingness to understand and to accept it, to cooperate with that process in order to purify ourselves, get free from all of that, and ultimately be able to properly surrender to Krishna. Krishna will be the witness and judge of those prayers. We cannot fool Krishna, we cannot cheat Krishna. And beginning conditioned soul is, you don't say, well, when I become a pure devotee, then I'll surrender to Krishna. No, these things are not allowing us to surrender to Krishna. That's why we're distracted. Krishna says, only think about me. But we're not thinking just about Krishna. Because we're caught up because of this attraction and attachment to Maya, under this bodily concept of life, attachment to bodily relations, I, me, and mine. And so whoever we love, that's where our mind is running, right? So this is very deep-rooted attachment. To get free from that on your own, on our own, is impossible. Only Krishna, only Guru can force us, put us under some type of discipline and try to somehow uproot the strength of these material desires, material attachments, by giving us higher activities in devotional service. So we were reading recently that Mahaprabhu was quoting from the Srimad Bhagavatam that especially in the Kali Yuga, because such sinful, degraded age, and people really, they have no qualification, no karma, no jnana, no yoga, no bhakti, nothing. So what are those people? What are we supposed to do? So Mahaprabhu said, okay, whatever you are, whoever you are, rich or poor, young or old, intelligent, not intelligent, educated, not educated, brahmana, shudra, sannyasi, brahmachari, doesn't matter. Everybody come together and hear and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And hear Hari-katha, Krishna-katha. Right? That's the medicine. Prabhupada said the whole point, my mission statement for creating ISKCON is to create a place where people can come together with the sole purpose of hearing and chanting about Krishna and trying to associate with Krishna through transcendental sound vibration so they can gradually purify their mind and their senses enough to be able to engage further in devotional service. So that's the whole point of ISKCON. To create a place where, as Mahaprabhu said, no matter where you are in this Daivi Varnashram system, everybody come and hear and chant about Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, hear about Krishna, hear from Krishna's devotees. So by that constant association and hearing, gradually this will purify our consciousness. So Prabhupada explained that the most important requirement for spiritual life is association with sincere, serious devotees of the Lord. Mahaprabhu said, if you're very serious about your spiritual life, the first thing is asatsanga tyaga. We can say we're so sincere, so serious, but if we're not give up asatsanga, then we're only fooling ourselves. We cannot fool Krishna, we cannot fool the spiritual master. This is the first step. We don't want to get liberated, you want to get really free from that, you don't want to really surrender to Krishna, develop bhakti, devotional service, then you'll just remain stuck in this bodily concept attached to bodily relations. We cannot give up this asat sangha, then it means we're not really serious about spiritual life, we're not really serious about becoming liberated and coming to the platform of real, genuine surrender and service to Krishna. That's a first requirement. Now we're made to be social, so we can associate with Krishna and Krishna's devotees, or we can associate with Maya and Maya chelas, Kali chelas. Your family is Kali chelas, Maya chelas, asatsanga. Bottom line. I don't care if it's your mother, or your grandmother, or your grandfather's Joe. It's all Maya, it's all nonsense. So if we want to remain attached and worried about them and attached to them and thinking about them, trying to serve them, trying to please them, it means you're not serious about spiritual life. It's if you realize I'm too attached, I need to get free from this attachment because it's binding me, it's holding me down. Those relationships have to become purified and spiritualized. But how many of those relations are interested for that? You want to be devotee like us? Then come and be devotee. We'll have a nice friendship, nice relationship, no problem. They don't want to be devotee. They want to be Kali Chela. They want to be Maya. So you want to associate with them, you'll become Kali Chela, you'll remain Kali Chela, you'll be Maya Das, Maya Dasi. If you can't make them devotee, they'll make you Kali Chela and Maya Das, Maya Dasi. That's the bottom line. You're going to either make them pure devotee of Krishna, or they're going to make you a pure devotee of Maya. So that's why Mahaprabhu said it. Those who are really serious, they will very seriously develop this desire how to get free from the strength and the control of these bodily relationships. This is the first step. And unless we have higher association, because we are all social beings, we want to associate and we want to hear. We want to associate and hear from Krishna, Krishna's devotees, Guru Sadhu Shastra, that's superior constitutional position. Otherwise, we're going to surrender and hear from Maya and just maintain these bodily relationships, and then you all can just go to hell. Fine. Enjoy with them sinful activities and go to hell. That's really brilliant, really smart. But if you're fortunate and you want to avoid that catastrophe and want to maximize the purpose of the human form of life, then we'll hear these instructions and take the instructions seriously. And if we think, no, I must surrender to Krishna, and if you're hesitating, Maya will put heavy lashes on your back to remind you that you should surrender to Krishna. That's also mercy. But you're trying to surrender to Krishna, but the mind is still going to family members and wife and son and daughter and mother and all these other friends, all of these other personalities. So you pray to Krishna, Krishna, I'm supposed to think of you and have love and affection for you, but just see my stupid mind is just running by habit to these other type of personalities which are all agents of Maya. So how will we surrender and serve Krishna when our mind and senses are agitated and attached and disturbed by Maya? It's not possible. If we sincerely want to surrender to Krishna, Krishna will give us very nice association. And then if you go Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, you regularly go and make that association with Krishna's devotees, then every day we will be reminded that you are not Maya Das, Maya Dasi. You are Krishna Das, Krishna Dasi. You are not the material body, you are the soul. You don't belong to yourself, you belong to Krishna. You are not the servant of your wife or your mother or your daughter, you are the servant of Krishna. So Krishna Samsar, We're meant to serve in Krishna's family. Krishna Samsa means a Guru Samsa. So if we regularly hear, we're constantly reminded, oh, we're not Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so from India and from America and England and Russia, right? A bodily concept of life. So this constant hearing and chanting daily reminds us that we do not belong to ourselves. We belong to Krishna, we belong to Guru and Krishna. We're meant to serve them, not Maya. We're meant to please them, not the family member. This is not attractive for a lot of people because they want to remain attached, you see. So they'll go to some guru, they'll just tell some stories and, you know, some leelas and stories, and everyone will be like somewhat a little interested. Nobody will ask you to do anything. No one will try to uproot your material attachments, material desires, material thoughts, right? So they want to be cheated, and they'll get cheated. If we want to really get free from all of that, then you need Srimad Bhagavatam. Then you need bona fide guru. Then you need support and association and regular hearing and chanting in association with Guru and Krishna's devotees. Otherwise there's no way out, there's no ticket out. And see, the mind just says, oh, I don't like this conversation, cello. Gotta go get married. Gotta go shopping. Gotta go buy some marijuana. It's all going on. Holy Dham. So these thoughts, these desires, these attachments, these addictions, that's what the mind is thinking about. So first, self-realization means to realize, oh, my stupid mind is running in this way. It's not functioning properly. So Krishna is not purifying and controlling my mind and senses. Krishna is the master of the mind and senses. He's the controller of all of his energies. Krishna says he separated material energies, body, mind, and soul belongs to Krishna, and Krishna is the controller of those energies. Krishna says under the false ego, we're thinking we're controlling everything. My body, my mind, my thoughts, my activities. We're thinking we're doing everything. But Prabhupada said the only thing a soul can do is desire. So if we're not desiring to sincerely, seriously surrender to Krishna, Rishikesh, then he'll not purify and control our mind and senses. Then it will just remain under the control of Maya. And Krishna says those sitting places of Maya is your intelligence, mind, and your senses. So we're thinking, well, I'm controlling myself, my mind, intelligence, senses. No, Maya is. Under false ego, we're thinking, no, we're doing. But Krishna said, no, you're thinking you're doing, but actually I'm doing. If you surrender to me, then I'll purify and control and engage your mind and senses in my devotional service. If you don't want to surrender to me, then I'll hand you over to Maya, and Maya is a wicked taskmaster, and she will force you into sinful activity and heavy punishment, sinful reaction. Those are the two choices. There's not even a third choice. Sorry. It's either Krishna or Maya, right? So, for one who has conquered the mind, how's anyone going to conquer how are you going to conquer your mind? That means you're thinking that you can do something, but the only thing we can do is desire, So all we can do is desire to have our mind conquered by Rishikesh, by Krishna. If we want to sincerely surrender to Krishna, Krishna said, then you'll come directly under my control to show special mercy. I'll purify all of this tamagun, all of this ignorance, all of this foolishness. By Krishna's mercy, he'll purify and free us not only from sinful reactions, which is why we're suffering, but also from sinful thoughts and desires. It says gradually this process of bhakti, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, even sinful thought will not even come into your mind. So the whole point is, how do we get free from sinful desires, thoughts, and activities, as well as all of the sinful reactions, which is like Himalayan mountains? How are you going to conquer all of that on your own? Well, I'm fighting against Maya. I'm trying to conquer my mind and senses. And then all the best devotees are saying, I admit my defeat. I tried to conquer my mind and senses. I tried to purify and control my mind and senses. It's not possible. Then what did Arjuna do? Then he said, okay, I admit my defeat. Now I just surrender to Krishna. And he said, now I'm a soul surrendered unto you. Only you can do it. Only you can fix me up. Only you can purify me. Only you can destroy all these sinful desires and material attachments and sinful reactions. What are we going to do with all of that? We don't even see half of that. We don't see hardly any of that. We're so deaf, dumb, and blind. No, I feel pretty pure. Everything's pretty cleaned out. I don't see any Himalayan mountains. I don't see any cyclone. Do you feel a cyclone? We're not even conscious enough to feel the madness of our own uncontrolled mind and senses. We're even unconscious about that. No, I think my mind and senses is peacefully controlled. And because I think that, that must mean I fully surrender to Krishna, right? For now. So this is the whole problem is the mind, right? Now the question is, are we going to let Krishna control the mind directly by surrendering to him? Or are we going to let Maya control our mind and senses and make her plan for us? So all of our thoughts and our plans and desires and activities, is that coming from Krishna? Is that direction coming from Krishna or is it coming from Maya? That's the only question. Where's it coming from? Prabhupada says here, the constitutional position of the living entity is to carry out the order of the superior. So when we hear and chant and write association, we're being constantly reminded that we are Krishna Das, Krishna Dasi. We're servant of Krishna. We're servant of Guru and Krishna. We're disciple. We're servant. Every day we're being reminded, you're not your body. You're not independent. You're not the owner. You're not the controller. You're not the enjoyer. That's Krishna's position. You're just a Das. You're just a Dasi. You're meant to just serve in Krishna Samsara. Guru and Krishna Samsara. That's a Sanatan Dharma. That's constitutional position of the living entity, is to do this Sanatan Dharma, to render loving devotional service to the Lord. So if we're in a constitutional position, means the platform of the soul, then we're realizing it is our duty, it is our responsibility in the human form of life to carry out the order of the superior. And of course Krishna said there is no truth superior to me. As long as one's mind is unconquered, uncontrolled, unconquered enemy. One is just serving dictations of the lust and anger and greed and envy, illusion, just running after the sense gratification and sinful activities. One will be surrendered, one will be serving, but it's just as a Krishna or Maya. Well, I'm not surrendering, I'm not serving. Okay. Then if it's not going to be Krishna, then it will be Maya. You're going to surrender, you'll be forced. You'll be forced to be a servant, either of Krishna or Maya. When the mind is purified and controlled by the mercy of Rishikesh Krishna, then it's in its healthy state, purified state. In that purified consciousness, Krishnaized, spiritualized consciousness, one then voluntarily is agreeing to be a servant and to abide by the dictation or the instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated within the heart of everyone as a Paramatma. So in the purest sense of the word, if we realize we're a soul, eternal servant of Krishna, and Krishna as Paramatma, super souls within our heart, then Krishna every moment is giving advice and instruction and dictation to the soul. The problem is we're not hearing it. Sometimes Maya is talking and we think, oh, that's coming from Krishna. Krishna is telling me to do like that. And then sometimes Krishna is telling, and then we say, oh, that's just my mind, I'm just speculating, it's not, I don't have to do that. So we have no idea what's coming from Krishna and what's coming from Maya. What's coming from Krishna, we're saying, oh, that's Maya, we don't have to do. What's coming from Maya, we're saying, oh, pounding the harp, that's coming from Krishna. So conditioned soul is deaf, dumb and blind, therefore they cannot hear Krishna. And Krishna knows that. But if one sincerely wants to hear from Krishna, and wants to get out of Maya, and wants to surrender to Krishna, then Krishna will send you bona fide guru. When I was trying to figure all these things out, I came to some realization that you should surrender to God. So then I kept praying to God. I didn't know it was Krishna yet. I kept praying to God, who's my friend, who's in my heart, is Paramatma, Super Soul. So I'm ready to fully surrender to you. I realize now, by your mercy, that I am your das, I'm your servant. So please kindly tell me, specifically, what do you want me to do? How can I serve you? And I was being as sincere as possible. And then I was waiting for the answer. And different thoughts would come, but it wasn't clear. It wasn't like absolutely sure. In many ways, Krishna wasn't saying anything. I couldn't take anything. And then I would go to the Bible, and I would look and I'd point to some verse, and then there's like 100 verses saying 100 different things. So I don't know which one of those verses, which one of those instructions in the Bible, Old Testament, whatever your spiritual book might be, which one of those instructions meant for us. So I was getting very, very frustrated because I knew I wanted to surrender, but for some reason, God is not giving me an answer. And I said, maybe I'm not sincere enough. Maybe I'm not convinced Krishna. So I kept trying and trying and trying and trying. And then I got to the point like, I'm really serious about surrendering to Krishna. But he's still not giving me any instruction. Bob, did this ever happen to you? Then I was like getting like a little concerned. Like why he not answering my question? I don't know what to do. And then one answer came to me one day after weeks. You need to find someone that I will speak through. That's the only thing I heard. Then I understood, okay, God is not going to tell me directly. He's going to speak through someone. And because previously I had saw how God is working through people, so I got this concept that God is using different people at different times to help you. So now I started thinking, well, who is this person that God is going to speak to? Now all of a sudden the desire will be like, where is this person? Because I'm not going to get that answer from Krishna unless I find Krishna's person or persons that he's going to speak through. Then it became clear that, okay, I need this type of purifier medium, and I have no idea, who is Krishna's man. I always tell you the story when we grew up on Sunday on the TV, and each channel had some preacher on there. Someone was giving some Bible class or discussion, so you could like literally flip to every channel. Of course, at that time it was like, now it's just you're linked into your brain. Channel 5. You just have to think it. At that time it was very gross. It was like, but every channel that you're going, right, there's somebody talking about God. I am the messenger of God. God is speaking through me. I was talking to him this morning, and he was telling me like this, put all of your money into Bitcoin. And then you turn the channel, right, and there's some other lady, and she's like, I was talking to God this morning while I was making pancakes. Oh, he thinks women just make pancakes. They're already complaining. All the women liberation people are complaining. Other preachers are in the temple, right? Those preachers, they're flipping pancakes. So they feel offended. But every channel, somebody's saying they're guru, preacher, teacher, connected to God, talking to God, pure via medium of God. So it becomes very bewildering, confusing. Of course, sometimes if you have little intelligence, you'll be like, this is impossible. The guy has like a helmet on, right? The world is going to blow up on October 12th, And then all the newspaper go to his house on October 13th, and they're banging on the door, say, hey, I thought you said that the world's going to blow up on October 12th. He's like, all right, get out of my house. He's like, seriously, you're bothering me, get out of my house. No, you said that everything was going to blow up on the 12th. So all of this is going on, and now you have AI, right? They're saying that super intelligence, super, computers, they will replace God. So then you have a bunch of metal and electricity in the three-dimensional realm is going to give you messages from the fourth dimension in the transcendental realm. How is it possible? And then you just try to go online and then God will tell you what to do, right? Anyway, that's a whole nother topic. So anyway, the point is, it's very, very confusing to know what to do and who is this pure via medium. So I was listening to different devotees, and they're talking about Krishna, and they're giving some information, some sort of following all of that, but it's still not like 100% clear, like 108% clear. I'm just trying, okay, you're fitting in the process, you're in the process, so maybe you'll meet some person that God will speak through. And then I had different Shiksha gurus, different association, different teachers, different preachers, everybody trying to tell something, then you're doing it for some time, still not really satisfied. Then I asked, who's the most advanced devotee in ISKCON when I joined. And basically I was saying, who is that pure via medium that God, Krishna, is going to speak through to tell my soul what is my instructions. Because here it's saying when your mind is purified and controlled, then you will voluntarily, Prabhupada says, you will agree to abide by or to follow the dictation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated within the heart of everyone as the Paramatma. So that means Krishna as Paramatma, Chaitya Guru, Superso, He giving instruction, but the problem is we cannot hear Him. And when He's saying, we're thinking it's not Krishna. And when Maya is saying, we're saying, oh, Krishna's telling me to do like this and this and that. So that's also causing a lot of chaos, because we're speculating and then we're misunderstanding, and because of our confidence in our so-called sincerity and, spiritual qualification, we're taking it, no, definitely Krishna is saying like this, but it's actually coming from Maya. So therefore, if we really want to surrender and hear from Krishna, and Krishna says, oh, this soul is really looking to hear from me, but he's just too covered over to be able to hear me, so I'll send him my devotee, and then I'll speak through my devotee, and that vibration, which is non-different from Krishna, will gradually purify them. And as they become more and more pure and freed from the false ego platform, then they'll be able to hear more from me and take a more dictation and more confirmation within the heart. So Prabhupada says the real yoga practice, it means meeting the Paramatma, Krishna, Chaitya Guru, within the heart, and then following his dictation. So are we doing that bhakti yoga? Are we meeting Krishna within the heart and having this transaction, and then understanding and hearing Krishna and getting dictation, direct instruction from Krishna within the heart? That's a real yoga. Meeting Paramatma Krishna within the heart, following his dictation. And for one who takes the Krishna consciousness directly, perfect surrender to the dictation of the Lord follows automatically. So are we perfectly surrendering to the dictations of the Lord? That's devotional service, that's bhakti. That is bhakti yoga. So who and what are we hearing? If we cannot hear from Krishna inside and out and through the Shastra, that means every other thing that we're hearing is Maya. No, it's Krishna. I'm thinking it's Krishna. I feel it in my heart. I'm pounding my heart. So that's why I say this pride and arrogance, overestimating our actual qualification, coupled with this sentimentality, this artificiality, that combination is deadly. Because then we are thinking that this thing is coming from God, it's coming from Krishna. And therefore we'll easily misunderstand it, and then we'll act on that misunderstanding, and that will create the chaos and confusion in your life. So one must receive a direct instruction from Krishna through pure medium of the Guru. If Krishna gives you intelligence inside, who is his own man, who is that persons that Krishna is manifesting and speaking through, if you have unflinching faith in Krishna and the Guru, then you can put unflinching faith in the instruction. If you don't have unflinching faith in Krishna, and you don't have unflinching faith in Guru, inside and outside, then how you can put unflinching faith in the instructions of the Guru? And Prabhupada said to make the order and instruction of your Guru, your life and your soul, that is the, the secret of success in your spiritual life. Two mercies are required. Mercy of Krishna, mercy of the Guru, Shri Guru. Without their mercy, we cannot purify our consciousness, we cannot understand properly, we cannot receive perfect instruction or absolute instruction from Krishna. Then we're just lost in some variation, gross or subtle, of the material energy of Maya. So Krishna says, touch Trinu, hear from me. Inside, Paramatma Chaitanya Guru, outside, Shri Guru, bona fide spiritual master, and to the Shastra. Srila Gaura Govinda Swami, every day he's telling how Krishna is the speaker of the Bhagavatam. So Krishna is manifesting in the form of the Bhagavatam. Krishna is manifesting in the form of the Guru. Krishna is manifesting and dictating from within the heart as a Chaitanya Guru, Antaryami. That's three places where Krishna directly manifested, giving us intelligence and dictation as to what he expects from us. If we're not that serious, then Krishna will not reveal himself inside through the Guru or through the Shastra, and then we'll just be left with the mental speculation, and then we'll overestimate our advancement, and with the sentimentality, we'll think we'll understand what God, what Krishna wants us to do, and then we'll misunderstand it, and it creates a complete chaos. And and how do you know? Is because we still have complete uncontrolled mind and senses. We're not able to give it up. We're not peaceful. We're not happy. We're not satisfied. Because we're living with the worst enemy. Right? If we're living with the Maya controlling mind and senses, that means any second, any moment, Maya can make you think and do any crazy damn thing. And even make you think it's spiritual. And you'll make a huge blunder because we misunderstood. So it says if you really want to control or have your mind control, it means first of all, if some madness is coming, just don't even hear it. Like a mad person comes up and says something, or your mad mind says something, you just ignore it. Just say that's a madness. That would be a disaster. Think through it, right? Think through it. Oh, that's an interesting thought. Okay, let's think through that thought. Let's see how that ends up. Right? Do the math. We're just like, oh, that's an interesting thought. Okay, let's go with that. Let's think about that. Where does that finally lead to? And then otherwise, if we surrender to Guru Krishna's instructions that we receive internally, externally through the Shastra, Krishna will purify, control mind and senses, then we'll automatically feel peaceful and happy and satisfied. Because you're not being harassed by the mad mind. You have an ISIS terrorist in your brain. You have a Nazi as a Nazi has taken over your mind. You are being tortured and led to slaughter by the Nazi of your mind, by the terrorist of your mind. So is it acting as our friend or acting as our enemy? Are we under the control of Rishikesh or Krishna and Krishna's devotees? Are we protected and sheltered in that association and hearing absolute knowledge coming from Krishna, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra? Or are we giving up that satsanga, sadhu sangha, and we're doing asatsanga and hearing all nonsense related to the body and bodily relations and grandpa's toe? And then we're off and running again, uncontrolled mind and senses. On a wild horse with no reins. No reins, no handlebars. Yeah. Just running wild. So, any questions? No. You ready to hear about his mother? This is like the continuing saga. Right? It's like soap opera. Right? Everybody, they want to tell their soap opera story, you know? Huh? Yeah. This is the next episode of the soap opera. This is called, let me come up with a good name. How about, give me a good name. Pune Pleasure. PP. Tune in for Pune Pleasure. This week, the family saves Grandpa's toe. Our grandson came back riding on a horse to save Mom from suicide and Grandpa's toe. All right, let's hear the next series.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
I
Actually, a different question.
Huh?
I had different question.
Oh, you're over the last one?
For the time being, yes.
Okay, what's the next saga?
Ask Maharaj, like, as you said it some time ago, like, that it's only when we surrender to Krishna that our sinful reactions and all these are destroyed.
That's what Krishna says, yeah.
So my question was that those who are Mayavadis, so
They think they are Krishna.
So are their sinful reactions not destroyed?
Of course. They're the greatest offenders. How are their sinful reactions going to be destroyed?
No, but like if we see from a like logical point of view, like they are constantly involved in doing some tapasya, like they are not doing like any type of like materialistic sinful activities, but still are they still committing sinful activities by?
Yeah, if you want to be God, if you want to replace Krishna, that's pretty sinful activity. Don't you think? All right, you're not eating meat, but you want to replace Krishna. That's pretty sinful. That's why they're the greatest offenders. So that killed that desire. So now you either can't be a Mayavadi. How else do you want to surrender?
Bhakti.
This is the only ticket out. But this is basically like the instructions how to break out of the prison, right? But if you're like happy in your room, like getting 3 square meals a day, and you get a nice blanket, and you have even they give you a TV or computer, right? If you're just happy there, then you don't have to be part of this breakout. Sometimes when the people breaking out of the prison, right? Many people are like, I'm not risking it, you know?
Yeah.
So just a few try to break out, right? Sometimes they get shot. So this is instruction for everybody, but not everybody can hear it, and not everybody can take it seriously. That's why many classes, Prabhupada is saying, please be intelligent, be fortunate enough to take these instructions, this opportunity seriously. But hardly anybody, Prabhupada said, they don't have any patience. They don't have any interest for that. Because they're so attached and they want to keep it that way. So this katha never enters into their head. They're like, oh, that's fascinating. That's interesting. But nothing will change. It's only, like I said in the beginning, it's only when the soul says, I want to fully surrender to you, but these things are a serious obstacle. Unless you purify me and free me from these materialistic desires and attachments and habits and conditioning, how will I be able to actually surrender to you? So now Krishna has to help us internally, through the Guru, through the process, how to gradually get free from all of those things. The Guru is giving instruction, that's coming from Krishna. Prabhupada says when Krishna gives you the instruction through the Guru, you have to make that your life and your soul. If you have faith in Krishna, unflinching faith in Krishna and the Guru's instructions, you make that your life and your soul. And anyway, you just try your best to execute those instructions, then gradually, everything that we need to achieve and understand will automatically come to us. But because of this stupid mind, well, I was thinking this is going to be a problem, right? So we're not simple. We're not simply accepting the instruction. We're trying to change the instructions. We think we know better. But all the trouble we got in was already because we thought we knew better. We admitted our defeat, isn't it? We turned our life over to Krishna, Guru and Krishna, and seeking those instructions. Receiving those instructions, now it has to just be executed. But because of this addiction to mental speculation, we start psychoanalyzing the Guru, the instructions. You say, I don't think this is accurate. I think I know better what I need and how I need. So we just start acting as our own Guru. So now, although you're thinking you know best, all that thinking is coming from Maya. If you have a question or you need clarification, that's a different thing. Once it's clarified and confirmed and reconfirmed, then there's no question or doubt that that's what Krishna wants us to do. Then it just has to be executed. And then if Krishna wants to change that for whatever reason or increase your seva, then he also can do like that. But that will automatically come. That's why I said if you take the instruction from Krishna through the Guru, make it life and soul, you can become free from mental speculation. Because you don't have to figure anything out. Krishna already figured it out. Guru's already telling, oh, Krishna already figured it out for you. You just execute that. Then there's nothing to speculate about. Then you can get free from disturbed mind and speculation platform. Otherwise we go back to maybe this, maybe that, maybe here, maybe there. You just go through the endless speculation cycle again, which is all variations of Maya's plan for you, because we're not putting faith, firm, strong faith in Guru and Krishna and their instructions. If we don't have firm, strong faith in Guru and Krishna and their instruction, how you make it your life and soul? As soon as some difficulty comes, some obstacle comes, something you don't like, you don't feel good about it, right? Immediately like, oh, you know, now I'm doubting this is Krishna's arrangement. Otherwise, why all these inauspicious difficulties are coming to me? You'll misunderstand it completely. Maya will just make it, yeah, like how can this be Krishna's arrangement? Why is not taking into consideration all of these other things? And now you're going through difficulty, it's painful, it's disturbing, it's challenging. Doesn't seem like going smoothly. Maya will give you 100 excuses why you don't have to accept that instruction. So now we're tested. How much faith in Krishna do you have? How much faith do you have in Krishna's arrangement sending you that Guru? How much faith do you have in the instruction that came from Krishna through that Guru? And can you accept that instruction? And then you go and you do some sadhu sangha, jump off some cliffs into the water. We were having a grand old time. Then one day I'm sitting in front of Gurudev, he giving Bhagavatam class, and he said, you know that your life doesn't belong to you anymore. And I was like, whoa, that's a heavy statement. You know, somebody tells you, you know, your life doesn't belong to you anymore, that's a pretty heavy statement. That's a guru. Guru means heavy. So his statements will be heavy. And that was a heavy statement. Your life does not belong to you anymore. Now, you belong to the Guru. So now I'm like, I just came to hear the class from Maharaj. Now my life doesn't belong to me, and now I belong to this person that I just recently met. So that's pretty heavy. And now, then I thought, wow, this is getting serious. And then Gurudev said, and then you have to be prepared to die for the Guru. So I said, whoa. This spiritual holiday has taken a sharp turn here. My looking for elephants will never be the same from this day forward. So if you look at it from scientific point of view, we don't belong to ourselves, we belong to Krishna. The Guru is just representative of Krishna. Krishna Samsa means a Guru Samsa. Guru Samsa is making Krishna's family here in this world. So, okay, we belong in Krishna's family, Guru and Krishna's family. We're meant to serve Krishna and those instructions through the Guru in that family. And be prepared to die. Some little difficulty comes, or so we don't feel good, oh, I have upset stomach, oh, I have some, this is not exactly like 5-star, 4-star arrangement. I'd take even 3-star right about now. Right, so we want an easygoing life. We're not ready to pay like heavy price. Well, how are we going to go through the process of purification and get the mercy of Guru Krishna if we don't do this type of divine austerity? So as soon as we're putting some divine austerity, we're grumbling and complaining. I don't like this arrangement. I need to make my own arrangement, my own plans. Now Maya starts saying, well, I can help you with that plan. And we're going to Maya and say, you know, how do you think I should avoid Guru and Krishna's plan? And of course be happy. And Maya says, oh, I got a great plan for you. You don't have to surrender. You can just have an easygoing life. You can just enjoy. You know, worry about your future later. Then we're like, oh, that sounds better. So we easily, when we're getting everything we want, we can surrender. Because it's conditional. As soon as we're perceiving our mind and senses that we're not satisfied materially, then immediately our mind is, I don't know if I want to really surrender. I don't know if I really want to continue with this process. Because now it's becoming a little uncomfortable. Yeah. It's getting a little narrow. Right? It says the more you go, the narrower the path goes, you know? At first we're all like going, you know, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is getting really narrow. Mamana Bhava Madbhakto. How much more narrow can you get? Only think about me, right? So problem is that we want Maya and we want Krishna. Little bit of Maya, little bit of Krishna. So we're even trying to change the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna, that's a little too tight, you know. I need to change that little bit, you know. Little tight. It's not practical. Krishna, you need to be more practical. You know? And Krishna is saying, look, then okay, do karma jnana yoga. Go worry about your karma then. Go cultivate some knowledge. Go be a yogi. Try to develop some mystic siddhis, right? So everything is there in the Vedas, karma, jnana, yoga, and then there's bhakti, right? So this is for those people who want bhakti, because they realize all of those other things is useless. And it doesn't actually free you from this cycle of birth and death. It doesn't free you from action and reaction or sin or sinful reaction. It doesn't solve the problem. Only bhakti solves the problem. So now how much of a problem are we perceiving? Prabhupada said, if you don't think you have a problem and everything is cool, you don't need a guru. Then you just act as your own guru. Right? Maharaj, who told you to take sannyasi? Who told you to take sannyasi? Did Krishna tell you to take sannyasi? Who told you? What authorization do you have? It looks nice, but is it authorized is my question.
तो महाराज भक्ति स्वरूप दामोदर स्वामी महाराज से संन्यास लेना है समाधि से हमारा गुरु भाई गोविंद महाराज थे गुरु भाई गोविंद महाराज भक्ति स्वरूप दामोदर महाराज के शिष्य
He's saying he took sannyas from his god brother, disciple of Bhakti Swarup Damodar Goswami Maharaj. What's his name? In Radha Kundu.
Is he bona fide authorized to give you this type of instruction? Is that instruction coming from Krishna?
Saying yes. He's saying yes.
Yes? 100% sure?
Yes.
Yeah, he's saying yes.
All right. You see, if you don't understand the science, you make a step like that, this is a great decision, then time will tell, I guess, right? Any other question? Hare Krishna. Mayapur, we got that question right. Any last thing? Yes? Deva Deva?
Hare Krishna, Shri Gurudev. Are the instructions of the spiritual master and meditating on the instructions of the spiritual master, is that the same as...
I'm not doing, I'm just meditating on the instructions. You're very clever, crooked, right? Because you say, the instructions are non-different from the guru, right? So if I just meditate on the instructions, then I'm directly with the guru. Right? But you actually have to do it. Deva, why are you not making cookies? Because I'm too busy meditating on making cookies. Making cookies will get in the way of my meditation. So we have to have, Gurudev said, you have to hear enough to get sufficient faith in Krishna, Guru, and the Shastra, so that when you get that instruction, you'll be able to follow it. And Prabhupada said, if you don't properly do Shravanam, you do not hear properly, you cannot develop sufficient faith in Krishna and the Guru and Guru instruction. And then, without that faith, you can't make the instruction absolute. You cannot make it your life and your soul. As soon as some difficulty comes, immediately your mind and your senses will become disturbed. And then you realize, like, wow, I'm accepting this on some sentimental, mental platform. We're not able to keep it up because it's not deep enough. It's not actually in the core of the heart, because not sufficient faith. Not sufficient faith means not sufficient hearing. So if we can come to understand our mistake, then we have to try to rededicate ourselves constantly. Keep it alive. That's why when you're with God brothers, God sisters, you start speculating some other thing, the God brothers will say, but didn't Gurudev say you're supposed to do this? So then Guru will remind you through the God brothers and God sisters of what your instructions were. So as long as you're in that association, then Guru Krishna still can speak through those devotees to remind you of what you previously heard from your spiritual master. But the Maya wants to pull us out of that association because we want some privacy and we want some independence, and we don't, it's the path a little too narrow. Right? Now there's not Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, now there's not regular hearing and chanting and association of devotees. Now if you're deviating by your speculation or your wife's speculation or your husband's speculation, now Guru Krishna can't speak to you through your God brothers, God sisters to remind you that you're going off, that you're deviating, you're getting tricked. I remember one God brother I had, you know, he met one airline stewardess, one beautiful lady on the plane, and he said, Krishna is telling me I should marry this lady. And then he brought that lady to see Gurudev. I won't even tell you how she was dressed. You can imagine. And he's somehow or other trying to get this blessed. He needs this to be sanctioned, you know? And then his mind was stolen by Maya in the form of this airline stewardess, right? So then when she went away, all he was doing was thinking about this lady. Couldn't get her out of his mind. So I went with him to see Gurudev, and Gurudev was saying, you know, he's saying to Gurudev, you know, you know, Krishna prompting, giving some intelligence that, you know, I should go to Delhi. Because she was flying into Delhi, right? And he's saying, and I just want to know, like, what Krishna wants. And Gurudev said, stay here in Bhubaneswar. So then he said, yes, but you know, if I don't go there, then this and this and this and this and that. So that's why I'm thinking I have to go there. So that's why I'm just trying to find out from you what I should do. And Gurudev says, stay in Bhubaneswar. And he said, yes, Gurudev, yes, I understand clearly, but I was just wondering because of this and this and this and that, you know, he did it again. And then Gurudev said, no, you must go to Delhi. And then he became so happy. He's like, I got the mercy. Yeah. Then we walk away, and I say to him, what are you doing? He said, what are you talking about? I just got the mercy from Gurudev. He said, I can go to Delhi. And then I explained to him exactly what just happened. And then somehow or other, when he heard that, he was like, oh, this is not good. I said, you didn't get mercy, you got vanchana. Because you're cheating, you're begging for vanchana, then Gurudev didn't want to give you vanchana. He wanted to give you mercy and protect you, but because you kept demanding it, then finally he said, no, definitely you have to go to Delhi. So you got vanchana, you got cheated, listening to your stupid mind. Then he got scared. And then he went back to Gurudev and said, Gurudev, I don't want vanchana. I don't want to get cheated. I'm afraid of what will happen to me. So please tell me, really, what does Krishna want me to do? And Gurudev said, stay in Bhubaneswar. So if you keep demanding, you're listening to stupid mind, then the Guru may just say, okay, fine, do what you want to do, but you'll get cheated. You now will have uncontrolled mind and senses. You're disconnecting from the protection in Guru and Krishna Samsara. You're giving up your protection from the shelter and protection within the instructions within that family. Guruji said, now you walk outside of the gate. When you leave Guru's Krishna Samsara, as soon as you walk out of the gate, Maya will grab you by your shoulder. Immediately. As soon as you walk out of the gate, again, you'll be handed over to Maya. And you'll have uncontrolled mind and senses, sinful thoughts, sinful desires, sinful activities, and punishment of sinful reactions. Or Guru Aparad, Vaishnava Aparad, Nama Aparad, Seva Aparad. Now you'll be punished in that way, if not karmically. So those are the choices that we have. If you accept the instructions as life and soul, means you're connected and sheltered under Guru and Krishna and Guru and Krishna's samsara, spiritual family. If we reject that by listening to the stupid mind and come up with an abundance of different excuses of how and why you have to do some other thing, and you keep demanding it, then you're going to get vanchana, you're going to get cheated. Now your mind has acted as your worst enemy, because it has now forced you to be disconnected from the shelter and protection of Guru and Krishna. So what do we want? Gurudev said, you want the Kripa, you want mercy, or do you want the Vanchana? Do you want to be cheated? Do we want Krishna, Rishikesh, to purify, keep control of our mind and senses, and give us some peace and shelter and protection? Or do we want to reject that and then come under the control of Maya with uncontrolled mind and senses, chasing after some mirage in the desert, which will create all kinds of chaos and suffering in our life? That's just the reality. It's not a blind threat. It's actually the reality of the situation. So we have to be smart enough and fortunate enough to have enough intelligence to make the right choice when we hear it, to take shelter of Guru and Krishna and their instructions. Did I answer your question? What was your question?
So, is meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna? Is that also?
You don't know Krishna. Do you know Krishna? Can you see and hear Krishna? That's why Krishna is coming as the Guru. So you can see and hear him. That's why he says if you understand how to do this Guru Seva, Guru Bhakti, then you can develop Krishna Seva, Krishna Bhakti. Without Guru Bhakti and Guru Seva, and Niskapata Seva, there's no question of Krishna Bhakti or Krishna Seva. Understand? That's where Krishna is manifesting. So if you can't see Krishna as Paramatma Super Soul, if you cannot take dictation internally, then he's coming as the Guru, Sakshat David Ben Astamasta Shastra. Then if you can't then see or hear Krishna manifesting there, then where you're going to go? Now, if you sincerely pray to Krishna, the deity, and meditating on lotus feet, I want to surrender, I want to serve you, I want to give up Maya, then he'll send you to the Guru. That's how he's going to help us. So if you just keep meditating on the lotus feet, and you don't go and surrender to the Guru, hear the instructions, make the instructions your life and soul, you can meditate forever on the lotus feet. And Krishna will never reveal himself to you. I'm just meditating on the lotus feet. I'm just meditating on the instructions. David, what meditation can you possibly do on anything? You're worrying about your wife, your family, your money, your poetry, your stuff. That's a one-pointed attention, man. I'm meditating. What are you really meditating on? Sounds good, right? I'm meditating on Guru's instructions and the lotus feet of the Lord. And in between, I'm meditating on absolutely everything else. How long is the meditation on the lotus feet? If you think of it, let's do an experiment here, right? Take like the last 24 hours, for instance, right? What percentage of that time that you were awake and conscious were you meditating? I don't have my computer. 14. I don't have my computer. 14. Okay, so 14 hours. Let's give you the benefit of the doubt. How many of those hours was you meditating on the lotus feet of Krishna? And then how many hours were you meditating on the instructions of Guru and Krishna? How many hours? Like, just give us like a rough estimate. Yeah, how many hours? Like overall, like if you tallied it all out.
At least,
how many hours?
at least like 10 minutes.
10 minutes? I'm talking hours. 10 minutes? I thought it was even 10 minutes. I question even the 10 minutes, to be honest with you. I think it was more like under 3 minutes. Say 1.5 for each. Okay, so let's say 5. Let's round it up. Let's say 5 minutes. And you're awake for 14 hours. So what's that? 13 hours and 55 minutes? Right? So what were you thinking about during that time? Yeah. There's kids here now.
I won't talk about that part.
Okay. No, you don't have to say. We know it was nonsense. More or less. Right? It's just some variation of Maya. Right? So you want to share 13 hours and 55 minutes of your different variation of Maya? No? Better we all forget it, right? So it better just follow instruction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada, Acharyas, Guru Sadhu Shastra. Stay in the association, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, hear Hari-katha, Krishna-katha, Krishna Nam every day. Be reminded that we are Das, we are disciple, Shishya, and we have responsibility and duty as Das, as Shishya, to serve the instructions that we've received from Krishna through the Guru. And that's the only thing to be reminded of, only thing to do if we want mercy. If you want out of this cycle, this treacherous cycle, disturbing situation. It's the only thing that's to be heard every day. Otherwise we forget. If you come every day, oh, I'm with Gurudev's disciples, I'm serving in Guru and Krishna Samsa. They're reminding me of the instructions that I got from Guru and Krishna Samsa every day, then you're protected. But Maya will make you a plan separate from association, separate from the ability to hear or be reminded of those instructions. and then you'll just concoct, Maya will concoct some other considerations, ideas, plans, speculations. Then once again, vanchana, uncontrolled mind and senses. There's like a vicious cycle until we finally figure it out. That's why it says when you're finally figured it out, when Maya finally has convinced us by heavy lashes, then we'll admit our defeat. Then we'll surrender to Krishna. Then we'll surrender to Guru. Not before that. If we don't think we have a problem, and we're not trying to solve our problem, you don't need a guru. Maya is your guru. You act as own guru. Whatever you feel, whatever you think, whatever you concoct, whatever plan you make, whatever you think is going to put you in the best situation, you'll just follow that plan. But if it's not coming from Krishna through the Guru, then just know that it's coming from Maya. And if it's coming from Maya, that can never, ever end well. And it will never be what you're thinking, what Maya is making you think it will be. You'll absolutely get cheated again, and broken-hearted again, and disappointed again, and frustrated again, and disgusted again, and again and again and again, until we've had it, and we want out, and we're prepared to do whatever's required to get out, then we'll take it seriously. Don't blame me. This is Krishna's instruction. I'm also being reminded of the same instructions. Now it's up to us to choose. We want to be Krishna Das or Maya Das. My Guru said, become a real Das. Stop pretending that you're Das. That's a heavy statement. Don't be bad, be good. How's that for simplification? Don't be bad, be good. Bob, don't be bad, be good. Any last thing? Yes. Hare Krishna.
गुरुदेव, मैं आज ये चीज़ बोल रहा है, मतलब मेरे मन में ये बात आया जब आपने बोला कि असत्संग त्याग के लिए, असत्संग, तो असत्संग एंड वैष्णव संग, साधु संग, व्हाट इम्पैक्ट ऑन माय लाइफ एक्चुअली, क्या मेरे जीवन में सुधार किया, इसके बारे में कुछ बोलना चाह रहा था.
He wants to share some realization.
Huh?
He wants to share some realization that when he tried to give up Satsanga and tried to do more Vaishnava Sangha and devotee association, what kind of changes and effects he got. So he wants to share some realization.
1 year ago, लास्ट एक साल पहले मेरे फैमिली में लोग, आपको मैंने इसके पहले बताया था कि they are basically more in meat eaters and drinkers like that. They are my family members. So वो लोग, उन लोगों के अंदर में ऐसा था कि वो चाहते थे कि मैं माया में ही रहूं और मैं कृष्णा को या गुरु को या वैष्णव संग या त्याग, मतलब उन लोगों के शरण में ना जाऊं, ये उनका प्लान था. बट सत्संग के इम्पैक्ट से, लोगों से मुझे ऐसा मिला गुरुदेव कि लाइक फर्स्ट मुझे शैलेंद्र प्रभु, देन सौरभ प्रभु, एंड रिसेंटली Pitambar Prabhu, and also is missing one good personality over here is
Which
Sanatan Prabhu. Sanatan Prabhu.
Sanatan?
Yeah, Sanatan
You're calling
Prabhu.
him this personality over
Yes,
there?
for me.
Oh,
Because a certain,
great,
yeah,
great.
yeah, Sanatan Prabhu is not there in this place. So they took me out from this Asasanga to Satsanga, and it brings me in front of you, Gurudev.
Yes, so
So in as the family was sinful life,
Kalichela.
Kalichela,
Yeah.
and they wanted him to be in Maya.
They wanted him to be a Kalichela?
Yeah, also.
But he looks more like a devotee than a Kalichela.
Yeah. Then, but he's saying by other devotees in our temple, like me, Sora Prabhu, and Sanatan, and Pitambar Prabhu.
And some other guy, yeah.
they brought them here to associate with you, and this our devotee association. So then he's like separate from this Maya family, and he's able to do.
So that's a practical example. Otherwise, if you don't provide a superior alternative, then how they'll give up this inferior type of association? Because, like I said, everybody is made to be social. So we're going to be social. We're going to associate with somebody. We're going to discuss something. So as Prabhupada was saying, that if you're in association with Krishna and his devotees, then you're going to discuss Krishna topics and about bhakti and Sanatan Dhamma, all of these topics. Be assured in that association. When you go back in the other association, they're just talking about the family and eating and some celebration, and they need some money, and they need to try to get some land, and they're trying to build some house, and they're trying to buy a car, and they're trying to pay some debts, and they're trying to get some money, and, right? That's all. That they can't think or talk about any other thing. Just get some money and enjoy as much as possible, and somehow or other build up your prestige in the society, in the social society, so that people will respect you and glorify you and hold you up. So that's all they're thinking about. They're not talking about Sanatan Dhamma or surrender to Krishna or performing devotional service and getting freed from material attachments and material desires and sinful thoughts and desires and plans and activities, and how to purify from all sinful reactions. They never talk about that, right? So what subject matter do you really think is best for your soul means we have to pick the right association that will be guaranteed that they'll discuss on this topic. Right? Even you come to ISKCON, you come all the way from other country, and you're like, you can just say, well, I'm in the Dham, and I'm with the devotees, right? But what are you really talking about? What are the topics? It says that when you go to the Dham, it's to do sadhu sangha, and hear Hari-katha, Krishna-katha. That's the point of coming to the Dham, because that's where those personalities are coming. So that's the main reason why we should be trying to come. Not just to have some social event and try to have some fun and eat some ice cream and a ride on a camel or a donkey or an elephant. Otherwise, it's like, it's some big happening, right? It's like somehow we're here in this happening. Like we're just fortunate to be in the atmosphere of this amazing experience. No, you said you come here to meet devotees to discuss this topic. Because only in this association, and especially in the Dham, where everything is more spiritualized, it's easier to discuss the topics. Because there's less distraction hopefully, so that you can actually think about this very subtle topics. And then when you get a taste of that association and discussing these topics, then you realize this is actually serious discussion on the transcendental topics. Then you go and you discuss with some materialistic person. It's like a joke. It's like it's so useless, frivolous, so meaningless, so small-minded. So you cannot get any real satisfaction in this type of dialogue. Maybe a couple minutes just to be friendly, but then when you're just sitting there, what are you going to discuss? What's going to be the topics? Politics, money, sense gratification, new house, new car, which cryptocurrency to buy, what is the financial situation, what is the geopolitical situation, when will Russia invade the rest of NATO countries, especially England. Got out of there. He saw those big missiles coming out. He's like, I'm out of here. They're not going to land in the Mayapur Dam, that's for sure. So these are only other topics. And it's also boring and useless and shallow and narrow-minded and frivolous. So it's not nice. So the association also forces us to come and to hear. Your mind and sense, oh, I don't want to go, I'm tired, I don't really want to hear, right? But anyway, you have to come, so then you came. Now you've dragged yourself here, and now gradually, you get to consider some of these points. If you didn't come here, you didn't even get to the point of trying to consider some of these points. That's the advantage of the association. It forces us, whether you like it or not, to come and hear this topic. You see, these gentlemen came, they're here for 5 minutes. As soon as I start talking about giving up attachment to your family, they're like, I'm out of here. This is like too serious. Well, what did you expect to hear about? That's what, when they leave, I'm like, well, what did you expect? That's why I get confused. When I went to ISKCON Rath Yatra in Philadelphia, they said, Maharaj, will you speak to all the young people? I said, I'll be happy. And they said, that's nice, but Maharaj, don't talk about surrender to Krishna. Don't talk about 4 principles, sinful activities. Don't talk about... They gave me like a list of 10 things I couldn't talk about. And then I was thinking, I don't know what else I can say then. So what are you supposed to preach? Just accept the ultimate managing authority. This is the only instruction I have for you people today. Just blindly accept the ultimate managing authorities and don't offend them. And you will go to heaven. And they'll make your experience. What did you want to hear? Some stories or something? Some leelas? About the gopis and the cowherd boys? Bob's a cowherd boy. That's why he's a little naughty sometimes. Oh, Krishna. This is all rasa bas, isn't it? Oh, Rasabas. Mixing up everything, right? Under modes of material nature. Next minute you're a gopi or a cowherd boy. Madness. Dasha wants to be Mother Jashoda. She wants to give birth to Gopal. It's all so spiritual, isn't it? Is it spiritual? Anything else? Any last thing? I'm glad you came to the nice realization.
आज मुझे आपसे एक चीज़ चाहिए गुरुदेव, वो है कि आशीर्वाद एक चाहिए आपसे कि ये कृष्ण का जो फैमिली है, ये हमारा जो फैमिली है, साधु संघ की जो फैमिली है, उसको मैं कितना अपने माइंड से, पॉलिटिक माइंड से कितना मैं उसको कंटिन्यू कर पाऊँगा, ये मुझे डाउट है गुरुदेव। लेकिन आप वो कृपा हम पर दे कि हमारे सारे साधु संघ जो लोग हैं, वैष्णव लोग हैं, वो हमारे ऊपर और हमारे फैमिली को पकड़ के रखे गुरुदेव। ये मुझे आपसे एक आशीर्वाद चाहिए।
So he's saying he has a doubt in mind that because his mind is polluted, but he don't want to lose this association, of this nice association. So he wants your blessing and mercy, so he never lose this association and this benefit he's getting in this association.
That's a nice desire. Because you understand, this is the whole solution. So if the mind is not, giving right information, you might be persuaded or make some mistake and lose that association. That's the only real fear. Because if this is the only real solution, if somehow or other Maya tricks us or we make some aparad or make some mistake, then you lose that association, then where exactly is Guru Krishna going to manifest? We're completely cut off. We cannot hear any instruction internally, externally, through the Guru, through the devotees. We cannot hear these transcendental topics in a very real way. Then we're lost. So that's the only fear we should really have, is that we never lose the opportunity to have nice association to discuss these topics. It's the only chance we have. It's the only ticket out. So we have to be careful not to undermine it by criticizing, finding fault, judging other devotees. Right? Just worry about yourself and hear what you need to hear about, and let Guru and Krishna help everybody else. That's not your lookout. That's Guru and Krishna's lookout. Everybody has some problem. It's like hospital, right? Everyone has different, gross, subtle disease. So everyone's trying to get some healing, some purification, taking some medicine, taking some nice diet, right? So you're in the hospital, just be happy you're there working on your own problem. Don't worry about the other patients. Don't become distracted, right? Otherwise you're going from room to room in the hospital and saying, oh, you're sick, you're in the hospital. Everybody's sick in the hospital, right? More or less. So they're all trying to work on their health and working on their spiritual health. So you just work on what you need to work on. And Guru and Krishna, that's their lookout. They'll take care of the rest of the people. That makes it more simple, easier. You won't be distracted. Otherwise, everybody has some fault. Everybody has some, problem. So just glancing around and analyzing everybody's problem is keeping us from focusing on what we need to do. That's enough work right there. Guru Krishna will help everybody else. And if we don't help ourselves, we cannot really help anybody else anyway. If we have all questions and doubts and weakness and attachments, what are we gonna preach to somebody else? It won't really be effective. So that's a good fear to have. That's the only fear to have. Please don't let my stupid mind and senses, don't let Maya somehow or other cover me over and drag me away from association with Guru and Krishna's devotees where I can engage in devotional service. That's the only fear. Especially while this mind and senses is not completely under control and purified, not completely developed unflinching faith. So this is a very dangerous kind of position to be in. So it's natural to feel that that you're not completely free. Right? It's like it says, like if you're a disease condition and you take a nice medicine and then you get rid of the disease, but you didn't yet strengthen yourself, then you're still in a dangerous position. Because very easily you can go back. So that the middle stage is a little bit dangerous. That's why you have to keep in a nice association, and that will give you shelter and protection until your faith is stronger and strong, until you're completely convinced and that you have enough understanding of how to get your questions and doubts resolved. Then this will protect you. So you exactly are understanding your situation. So that's nice to see that, and it's true that, yeah, this is a dangerous time, because without right association and dedicated to hearing and chanting, easily Maya can catch us and put some other topics and some other distraction is there. So yes, we have to be very careful. I appreciate that. All right, everybody, thank you very much for your time and your patience. Appreciate it. Shri Gauranitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Govinda Swami, Srila Gurudeva ki, Samaveda Bhakti Binda ki, Gaura Permanande. Thank you, everyone. Bye.